welcome back to the Three Hammers podcast. Here, as always, with Luke. And if you've probably seen on the thumbnail, very, very special guest tonight. We've got Gonzo with us from Hammers Chat. How's it going, lads?
Really good, mate. Really good.
Hello, Paul. Hello. Well, I'm all right over it. I don't know about special guest, but I'm definitely Gonzo.
Bruce Wayne. The Bruce Wayne of Hammers YouTube Society with your man cave.
Well, I was going to go to Freddie Mercury. Freddie Mercury of what do y'all watched it?
Are you doing the Movember? Is it the Movember you're doing, or is it just
It's fashion. No, I mean, it's definitely not fashion, is it? Everyone's got beards now. I think the beard is fashion. Everyone has beards, don't they? No, we did it originally to raise money for a defibrillator for the boats, and we raised the money, got the defibrillator, which is now on the boats, on the Hammers Chat boats, and it's sort of grown on me, literally, and it keeps growing on me, and something for the ladies, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? The missus don't want me to get rid of it now.
I watched your video on the train actually coming home. Jose Mourinho, you've been quoted as now. Looking like Jose Mourinho.
I don't know. I don't know where he got that. I don't know.
I think he looks like you.
Well, he does. But most people go for a gay Mexican at the moment, which was exactly the look I was going for, boys. So there we go.
Right, let's get on with it a little bit. Right, so let's welcome Gonzo. Gonzo, mate, great to have you on. Actually, I've got to say, I left a comment on one of your videos a couple of days ago. I've got to say, some of your videos at the minute, mate, are some of the most inspirational stuff out there at the minute. I really enjoy it. They're really insightful. And I'm not just saying that because you're on the show, mate. I've actually really enjoyed your content at the minute. I think it's some of the best stuff out there at the minute. I really do.
Well, I saw your comment, mate, and I deleted it because no, I didn't really. But no, I thank you. I thank you for that. That's really nice. It's been hard because I've committed to this, doing a video every day, and it's quite funny actually, because you don't like when you do these things and sometimes you think, should I say this or should I say that? And some subjects are off limits. When you've got to do a video every day, nothing is off limits, because otherwise you'll limit yourself and you'll run out of things to talk about. So I've found myself laying into the boards basically, and people seem to like it. But listen, thank you. And it's
it's just you can tell they're well researched videos. They're very well made. Okay, right. So here we go. What's wrong with our club at the minute, boys? First time I've sort of spoke to you since the Burnley game as well. It's just getting worse and worse. It really, really is. Let's start with Paul. Paul, what do you think, mate? What is wrong? We've got the international break to recover.
Hey, what is right with our club at the minute? We're in a really, really bad state. And the last show we did, I'm sure we'll talk more about Pellegrini in a little bit, but, we always asked the question, is it time for him to go? And we said, no, not yet, but he needs to turn it around quick. I'll be honest with you, he's lost me now. I don't see any improvements. If anything, we're going backwards since that win over Man United, that 2-0 win. We've just gone backwards and backwards and backwards. And I really think we're getting to the point now where the players are starting to give up. I think the players are starting to look around and think, what's the point? As soon as we can see one goal, the edge drop. You know what it's like when you play in a bad five-a-side team, and you can see the goal and you just think, oh, here we go again. That's what our players look like at the minute on the pitch. And I just think it's going to be really, really difficult to turn around now under Pellegrini. I do. And I'm saying this as someone who was a big fan of his coming into the club.
What's that, mate?
Yeah, I don't know what it's like to play in a bad five-a-side team, clearly. But
we were terrible. We were.
No, I'm only joking. We went between Division 9, Power League, Division 9 and 8. Me and my mates always were. So we never got to the dizzy heights of Division 7 or anything like that in the Croydon Power League, as I think it was then. But anyway, what's wrong with the club? There's just so much. I mean, so much is wrong with the club, and it's easy to look at it now and say, well, hold on a second. You're only saying it after a run of poor results. Why weren't you saying this after the Man United's result or after the Norwich result? But the context of the story is everything. Now we're armed with more information than we were then. Now we know that actually Manchester United aren't the Manchester United of Sir Alex Ferguson. Now we know that Norwich are not the second coming of Barcelona, and actually, you know what I mean? Pucci is not Higuain or whatever. Sorry, it's not Pucci, is it? What's his name? Fucci.
Pucci.
Fucci. It sounds like Pokemons, don't they? They're not as good. And actually, they were probably there for the taking. The other win was against Watford. So once you start to spread it out, there's an old saying: never judge the league until Christmas. And the reason I say that is because generally everybody's played everybody once, and you've got a reflecting position. You've had about half home games, half away games, and the league starts to balance out. So we find ourselves where we do, and so much of it is down to the manager, to the tactics, to the lack of investment in the summer, certainly. And when we talk about lack of investment, yes, we bought Sebastian Haller. Yes, we bought Fornals, but I think there was a 25 million pound net spend, but a massive cull in the wages. We got rid of massive high earners. So actually, you know, we could have brought in, I think, I read the other day, we could have brought in 2 more players on 170 grand a week or something like that. Not that we should, but mathematically we could have.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, that's a massive player, that as well. That's a massive player. Who said it the other day, actually, in terms of what you're saying there, that there's a thing with a league table in terms of transfer spend and wage spend, and the wage spend always, you know, trumped the actual transfer spend, and then sort of into your argument there in terms of, you know,
correlation in wages is sort of ties up quite nicely with normally where teams finish in the league, not so much sort of net spend. But yeah, massive underinvestment. And the team just looks a mess in a minute. And just to go back to Gonzo's point there, where he's saying about, if anyone's saying, why wouldn't you say this after the likes of the Man United game? I genuinely remember saying to people after the Man United game, that's one of the worst I've seen us play, and we beat him comfortably. And the scary thing is, every week I've said that's probably the worst I've seen us play.
Every week
it's just got worse and worse and worse. And the thing, we kind of touched on this last week, Luke, but if, you know, we change the manager, we get somebody else in, and we seem to do this in 3-year cycles, and it just repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats. And it's hard to know how to stop that. Even if you go back before, you know, Sullivan and Gold, it feels like we've always been this kind of club. It just, I don't know, we're a cursed club. We are.
I know,
we really are.
I genuinely start feeling that it's like a cursed club, as if, you know, we're just destined to just there and fail. I don't know what you think, Gonzo. You've probably got couple more years on us. You're not that much older than us. I'm 35, but you're not that much older.
You're too kind. You're too kind. Yeah, the old curse one. I've heard that a few times. The anthem's the other one. Fading and dying. We are we're bewitched by our own anthem.
I've literally got Fortune's Always Hiding tattooed underneath crossed hammers on my arm. It's just ingrained.
Yeah, well, they're not hiding; they're just not there. You see, hiding suggests you can find them by a tree or underneath the rug or something like that. They're not hiding at all. There are no fortunes, or at least there haven't been. I'll tell you what, there's a lot more fading and dying than fortunes, is what I'm saying. Plenty of bubbles though. We got bubbles, so we got that to look forward to. We got the new bubble machine at the London Stadium. Excellent transport links to that bubble machine. Best bubble machine, best transport links to any bubble machine in the world. In terms of are we cursed or repeating? It's like that Tom Cruise film, isn't it? That where every day is the same day, isn't it? I think this is just how we are. I think if anything, we've dared to dream that we're something different. We have been.
You made a really good point actually on I think it was one of your videos where you said about a fan that joined us from the last season at Bolin must have thought, do you know what? You got a bit of a team here going on, and then this is the real West Ham. This is real West Ham. That last season was just, you know, we were carried by a world class player that year.
What a player! Someone posted the clips up the other day. He done something else with Marseille. Yeah. He did something with Marseille. He scored a really good goal. Won the tackle. Sprayed the ball out to the right hand side. Got the ball back. Played the geezer in. Then got back on the end of it. And so he was basically featured. He did the tackle. He did the run. He did the pass. And he did the goal. And if someone turned around to you and said, "Could you believe that Dimitri Payet?" You'd say, "Yeah, actually, yeah, it does sound a bit like Dimitri Payet, doesn't it? Really, it's you do feel sorry for anyone that bought into that, but that's almost my story in many respects. My first game I ever saw on telly was a 1980 Cup final when my old man was going off to the football. I remember, and he left me with me nan, and they said, "You're going to have to." I remember Nat almost forcing me to sit down and watch the game. "Well, no, your dad's at this." Well, hello, this is good. My first game I ever went to was 1983. Waited 3 years for my next game, and we won 10-0. So I thought, hey, we won the FA Cup. We beat teams 10-0. What's not to like? You know, everyone keeps going about this Liverpool, Schmiverpool. Don't worry about that. It's West Ham. So, the concept of your first season being...
Yeah, I was sport. My first ever season was the Canio season. You know, like just unbelievable. You think these magical players come along. They probably come along for West Ham about every 5 years, don't they? Every 5 to 6 years, you get this magician that comes through. And it's never been the same since that Paolo season.
You say that. You say every 5 years. That's pretty optimistic. You know, Payet, obviously nominated for a Ballon d'Or, genuinely one of the best players in the world at the time he played for us. Di Canio, massively underappreciated internationally, but 100%.
He was close to joining Man United at that time.
100% one of the best players in the league at the time. Yeah. But aside from those two, I can't think of anyone else.
I'll go with Tevez. I'll go with Tevez.
Oh,
Tevez.
yeah, Tevez.
I know it was only a season.
Tevez,
but half a season.
Yeah,
half a season. Yeah.
But we haven't had many of that caliber of player in our time.
No. But let's move on a little bit. So, the comments in the chat here. Saw Nicky, so that's Nicky for West Ham Fan TV's video, and he thought he was spot on with what he said. The club is unprofessional from top to bottom. So that leads really nicely into the next thing of blame game. Who is to blame? Who are your key people to blame for the way the club is, and how far back is it? Oh, what is that noise?
It's not me. The man cave's creaking. I don't know who built it.
I think it's my daughter's just outside. So who is to blame? You can count the board, manager, players, lack of identity, the move. What is to blame? What is your, if you could a top 3 and give a couple of reasons why, what is it? If you go one each at the minute. So if we go Gonzo first, like, what is your main sort of blame at the minute? See, they're blaming Julius, the board, at the minute.
I don't blame Julius because I never bought into the fact that I thought he was world class and brilliant in the first place. So I think he was brought in because he was Pellegrini's mate and he was from Malaga, and we seem to bring everybody in from Malaga. I think the tea lady is from Malaga as well at the moment. Talking about the tea lady, actually, I think that's a massive issue, not the tea lady herself, but I think it's indicative of what's going on at the club. Because when I was at that last game at Upton Park, the tea lady was going. Everybody was going. The guy, if you remember when at Upton Park, when Jose Mourinho got sent to the stands, and he actually had to stand behind David Sullivan and David Gold. He got sent up, and then we scored, if you remember, against Chelsea. And there's that picture of them all. Lovely picture. Okay, well, there's a guy next to Jose Mourinho, and that guy was David Sullivan's main security at Upton Park with every game, and that was his job. I think his name might have been Paul, funnily enough, and he didn't get. Might have been John, actually, Paul or John. Anyway, something like that, something biblical. And he lost his job. So I mean, there wasn't even any loyalty there because everyone's employed by the London Stadium or the Olympic Stadium or whatever you want to call it. So that's got to be a massive thing as well in terms of the regular faces and a sort of family feel about the club. Probably not anything that happens anywhere else. I think we'd have been. There's a massive turnover at the club as well, by the way, in terms of jobs.
One of my friends that I used to work with in my school actually used to be a steward. Renew her contract or anything. Yeah, with
stewards, it's ticketing. Yeah. It's the turnover at West Ham is absolutely crazy in almost every single department, and because it's a hard gig, you know. Particularly, I know there's some people that work in the media department and things like that. It's a hard gig. It's a thankless task. It's not particularly well paid, and sometimes you're asked to do 80-hour weeks. So that's hard. I mean, I know for a fact there's people that have moved on, as I say, just nor had normal jobs within the club, who went on and actually now work for other Premier League clubs. and literally do a third of the hours for a bit more money. So that you've got all of that going on in the background. Not quite as glamorous to talk about that as the players and everything else, but that's a tangible thing. And then I also think there's Gio often says about us on Hammers Chat, we're just winging it. Well, that's fine. It's a couple of blokes on a webcam and Charlie in the background doing his editing, and we're all learning on the job, really. That's fine. No one's relying on us to do anything. I get the feeling the owners are winging it, certainly with their appointments. I felt the appointment of Pellegrini lacked a total imagination. He was, I said the other day, all there, be it McLeish, be it Steve Bruce, be it Avram Grant, Sam Allardyce, all these guys, all these managers lack any sort of ambition at all, or it's a paint by numbers way of appointing manager, and I think that doesn't help, because I just think there's just so much organisation, philosophy, and from everything, and there's been too much change. New stadium, new training grounds, new members of staff behind the scenes, new members of staff in the scenes, massive player change. So much is wrong.
I think that's a really good point where you say about the owners winging it. I saw a couple of people talking about this on Knees Up Mother Brown the other day, actually, and basically saying that we seem to be a club that has no plan. We've got no long-term plan. We've got no long-term strategy. You know, we don't bring in managers to fit a certain philosophy and to play a certain way. We don't bring in players to fit a certain system, and there's no long-term plan, which means the likes are now, you know, it all goes wrong if Pellegrini goes and we start again. We're literally starting again every single time. And it's because we seem to make such dramatic shifts. You know, we seem to go from a real pragmatic, you know, defensive, solid, hard-working type manager, and then we get bored of that and we want to see exciting football. So then we go for that. And then we start conceding loads of goals. So then we change again. It just seems like the whole club needs to reset everything.
It's a philosophy. You said it, Gonzo, actually, in your video that I watched today. Swansea, in terms of, you know, Brendan Rodgers attacking football, high press. And Michael Landrup came in, attacking football, higher press, possession-based. West Ham don't do that. West Ham don't think, right, this is the identity we want. It's sort of work with the same players. We don't work like that.
I think genuinely, it's as far as Sullivan goes, I think his goal is literally keep the club in the Premier League. That's it. That is his philosophy for the club. Yeah, that's it. Keep the club in the Premier League, pay down the debt, and then eventually sell up a couple £100 million in the bank. And maybe it will take that new change of ownership to start giving us some kind of identity again and some kind of long-term plan. I don't know, but it just feels like it's not there at the minute.
Also, anything on what Paul said?
Yeah, well, 100%. I mean, 100%. There's nothing to diss. No one in their right mind to disagree with what he said there at all. Funny enough, I look at Liverpool. I think Liverpool got their identity back. Ironically, they had one set of Americans, Hicks and Gillette, if you remember, who were terrible. They were awful. Easy to forget that. But then they had Henry and his group that came in, the Fenway group, I think they might be called. They put the identity back into Liverpool. And I know Liverpool's not a popular club, and it's almost a popular club to hate, isn't it? But actually strip all that away, strip away your personal like or dislike for Liverpool. Liverpool were a club with a massive identity that got stripped away throughout the years, and it's actually taken the current.
We're seeing it with Man United now, aren't we? In terms of, you know, like when me and Paul were at school, listen, they were the best team in the world, team in the planet. Then they're nothing there. They haven't got no identity at the minute. Really haven't. They're trying to play it.
Well, they did stray from that, and because their identity, if you look at, well, their club identity is obvious. Nobody needs me to tell them that. But their footballing identity is attacking football with width. That's that, and fast. Not the tippy tappy. It's not Barcelona style. It's not Man City style. Fast wingers, yeah. Crosses, and there's width there, but nice football, fast flowing. And that goes back. It's easy just to think of the Alex Ferguson era. Actually, when you look at George Best, players like that. Actually, they've always had that type of player there, and they like to attack from the flank. So you think actually you should be retaining that, and then they managed to find themselves. So Moyes was the wrong appointment for that, even though Moyes did play with width, and he did. I think famously, the most crosses has ever happened in a Premier League match was when David Moyes was manager of Manchester United. I can't even remember now. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was somewhere between 30 and a million. I don't know, but it was a lot. It was a lot of crosses. But he was too. You mentioned the word pragmatic. Good word. He was too pragmatic. He was too defensive for them. So he didn't liberate them enough. So these clubs do have that, and now they've gone from that. Then Van Gaal and then Mourinho. And now even Solskjaer is now a counter-attacking manager, and I think some width is starting to come into it. For too long, they've almost played with front three, and those two wide players, be it Martial or whoever it might be, are tucked in. There's no, they've lost their identity. It may well take someone else to come back.
Look like they're trying to build an English identity there. If you look at they're linked with Rice, Addison, probably Kane eventually. They're linked with all English, like they're trying to build that sort of ethos again. Yeah,
they're almost their new identity, which is, I think that, funny enough, has developed out of fear. I know, sorry, I just started Man United podcast, but I think I think that's developed out of them so worried about foreign players flopping that they think the only thing they can rely on is a British players. And funny enough, I think it's something we have got almost too few of at the moment.
Yeah. Let's drop in some of the comments because there's loads of like sort of good little comments in here. So, evening, would you take 17th place out at the top 6 or even 10th is out of the question? I wouldn't say 10th is quite out of the question yet, but I think I'll put your hand off for 17th at the minute.
It's a mad one. Yeah. Like we're 4 points behind 5th or something, aren't we? So it's so tight. I think if Pellegrini stays, it depends what happens. I think if Pellegrini stays 100%, I'll take 17th. I think if we do make a change, which I don't think we will, then we should be looking up rather than down. But yeah, 100% at this specific moment in time, I would take 17th.
Gonzo?
Paul's answer's the right answer, of course, with Pellegrini in charge. I mean, Lewis's question.
What has he got to do to stay? What has he got to do to stay for you? Where's he got to finish?
Change. Sorry. Where has he got to achieve in the league?
What would be a good finish? You could say, okay, he's had his season, given that third season.
Okay, he's not getting a new contract. Right, there's only one way that he gets an extension on his contract, and that's if he wins the FA Cup. All this thing that has been much poo-pooed. Actually, I wonder if now he's realising actually these cups might have been my saving grace on this one. Him getting it's what will allow him to see out the last year of his contract, which is next season. So I think if he keeps us, let's say he finishes 12th, 13th, something like that, I think he will be allowed to play out the last. But see, the league, I think mathematically the league might be quite close. So I think even if you finish in 16th, there's no way any team finishing 16th is going to be finishing that position, having flirted with relegation with 3 games to go. So whoever finishes 16th won't be safe with 6-7 games to go. And you do not want to be a manager that's going in with 3 games remaining, not safe, because then. But I would agree with Paul. But I'd like Lewis to ask his question. Lewis to ask his question again in 3 games' time, and then we'll see how many people would.
What my fear is with what you said there, mate, in terms of Pellegrini going into that last year. Again, that history repeating itself. You're in like a purgatory thing of not going to spend no money. He's going at the end of the season. The players don't. Like happened with Slav. I think it's happened with a few managers now, isn't it? Moyes to a certain extent. They knew he wasn't going to bit. For Fat Sam as well. Yeah. It's just a joke. That's allowed to happen all the time.
I've said that
goes into a season with a manager. Needed to renew again.
I've been saying that for years, pretty much since Allardyce, actually, that letting a manager go into the last year of their contract is ridiculous. It should never happen at any football club. I really, really believe that, because you end up in that exact situation that you just said. Everyone knows going at the end of the season, like you say, there's no investment. The players don't care. The managers don't care. It's just not a sustainable situation. And the fact that seems to be, Sullivan's proud of that. We don't sack managers. No, you just let them wind down their contracts and then fade into the sunset.
You make it difficult for them. You start sacking their staff. You start stacking Julios. do you make that, Gonzo, in terms of your views on last year of contract, if he was to go into it, knowing that he probably is not going to get renewed?
Yeah, yes. I mean, yes and no. I think there's arguments for both cases. I think we have been stitched up. Not just us, lots of people get stitched up by long contracts quite a lot. I mean, we find ourselves in a situation at the moment, quite possibly, where not only the length of the contract, but the amount of money we're paying him is prohibitive to us getting rid of him. So actually, the reason we can't get rid of him is because he has so long on his contract. So I can see it both ways. I think where it doesn't work out in particular is if it allows the players to down tools if they know a manager's off, and also there's no reason for the manager to try and incorporate young players into the team. But even that, I mean, we're not seeing now anyway. He seemed to be a lot more prepared to put the young players in last season than he is this. So it almost seems like something has changed. Even last season, if you remember last season, Pellegrini, I know we're digressing slightly, but Pellegrini had changed formation 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
He seems reticent to do that now. Number one, to change formation. Number 2, to throw some youngsters in there. Is a far more cautious this new version of Pellegrini than he was last year.
Next comment says, game of ifs here. If Pellegrini goes, if someone is brave, stupid or greedy enough to take the manager's job, will he be given the Haller money or the Hugh Gill money? Basically there. The fear is, the Twitter trend, Neil Warnock, mate. I don't know whether you see that, Paul.
Yeah, he's retiring, isn't he?
No. How can he slag off the Tevez situation? I think he would take the job if he got offered it, though. No,
and something controversial. He'd keep us up.
He probably would keep us up.
100%. 100%.
That's a good point, mate.
Let's be realistic. It's not going to happen. He's not going to get offered the job. Like Sullivan's
I
not
know,
that stupid.
I don't know.
Who would you take? So at the minute, if Pellegrini was to go,
do you want a realistic or do you want a realistic and a dream?
Well, I mean, for me, the dream, just looking at who's available, because let's be realistic, he's not going to poach anyone. So looking at who's available, my dream appointment will probably be Allegri, which is never going to happen in a million years.
Who's Allegri?
Juve manager, probably.
Oh, right.
But the guy, realistically, for me, the guy who just got sacked from Bayern Munich, Kovac, who used to be the Frankfurt manager.
Would they give him the money, though? Would they give him the money?
Well, if you look at what he did, when he was with Frankfurt, he didn't have mega riches, done wonders with them, bought Haller, and obviously had him, Jovic, Rebic. That's a realistic appointment I would like to make. Plays decent football, plays good football. What about you boys? Who would you want to see come in?
I'll do mine quick. I tell you, I really like. I don't think he'd come. I really would like Steven Gerrard. I have to be honest. I think Steven Gerrard would do a fantastic job for us. He's got the Liverpool Academy links, a bit like Fat Frank with Derby. Who's sniffing a manager academy that you can loan to West Ham? Can we have him, or can we have this one on loan? Listen, if you're turning up for training as a young player and Steven Gerrard's there, you're buzzing. You're buzzing that Steven Gerrard's there. But again, not realistic. I think realistically, you're looking at, I don't know, a Scott Parker, Lee Bowyer character, that sort of, he's got West Ham ties, that sort of thing. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if Tony Pulis turns up. Gonzo?
Steven Gerrard. Well, I mean, he's a winner. He's just a winner. It's something about his character. He's quite scary, actually, isn't he? Have you seen him handling a press? He's quite grumpy and quite scary. And I think he'd be quite grumpy and quite scary in a dressing room. I think actually maybe we might need a little bit of that. And, that little bit of Roy Keane attitude actually going in there, just because I think they're probably getting exactly the opposite. At the moment, Mark Noble said in his Evening Standard column that Pellegrini doesn't get angry, Pellegrini doesn't rant and rave. Maybe they need a rant and a rave, because then he spoke about Allardyce, and Allardyce, if they lost, Allardyce used to drag them in at silly o'clock on a Sunday and make them watch the video. And apparently Allardyce used to say, well, look, I've had to sit down and watch that. Now you lot got to watch it. Now, I was no fan of Allardyce or his football, but there's some merits in that tough love approach, and I do believe in carrot and stick. I think you give the players they get everything. They get all the benefits in the world. They're rich beyond their wildest dreams. And I think if you manage, then you give them everything. You take them to Dubai for hot weather training. You do them all this, and that's your carrot. But I think you've got to have a stick there. And I think so. Somebody like that. I mean, I don't know if you saw it today. Somebody has released the Chelsea the Chelsea fine sheet. The Chelsea fine sheet.
Yes.
Somebody said, I don't know if this is going on at West. I bet West Ham haven't got anything like this. Well, to be fair, it didn't go far enough for me because there was nothing on there about mobile phones, about having your headphones. Obviously, I'm speaking whilst I've got headphones on, but I'd ban having your headphones on. You know, like when they walk past fans and pretend to be on their phone. And all that stuff is all building up of attitude. There you go.
Something like that. 20 grand for being late for training. £500 for every minute you're late for training.
All that's good, but I think they can go even further. I think a discipline and a strict code is very much needed. So I think you've got to bear that in mind when you bring in. But I almost see it as a David Moyes situation. Maybe not now, but I have to talk about it now because we're going to be in the situation that I'm referring to in 3 games' time. Because I don't think we're going to win our next 3 games. So I almost think we need a David Moyes firefighting situation, and then next year you bring in your German fella or whoever. The other one was Allegro's a car. Don't have a car running a football.
Leg over. Yeah.
Well, that'd be nice.
So that leads quite nicely onto Moby Dick's question here. Would you guys have Moyes back? I would. I think the man, he did all right with what he got. He wasn't really backed properly in terms of he came in, he did what he had to do. If that was the case, he came in what he had to do at the end of the season again. Yes or no?
I mean,
that's not ambitious by any sense of the imagination.
If it was that specific situation where we said to him, right, 6 months contract just to sort of get us steady the ship for 6 months and then step aside, pretty much exactly the same as what happened last time. In that situation, then I would take him back because I do think he did a decent job for us. I really do. I personally,
got Arnie planned, didn't he? Got Arnie planned.
I personally think he did enough to warrant an actual contract, in my opinion. So if he came in for just that 6 months, I wouldn't want to see him as a long-term manager now.
Everton if it was screaming to have him back, apparently. Absolutely screaming to have him back.
Who's screaming to have him back?
Everton. That's like the big thing that, like, if Silva was to be sacked, Moyes is the favourite at the minute in terms of Everton polls, which is crazy, isn't it? It's crazy, and we're turning our nose up. Good one.
Well, I hope he'd turn his nose up at us, actually, because I wouldn't blame him for doing so, actually. So I hope he would turn around and say, actually, no, you treated me really badly. I did what you asked me to do. Why would I come back and work for you again? And I'd have every respect for him doing that, actually. I also think the scenario that you just talked about, Paul, about him coming in 6 months or whatever, I don't think he'd accept that, and I wouldn't blame him. I think he'd turn around and say, hold on a second, you should have given me the contract last time. I'll come back to your club. But I want the 3-year contract. I want the money in January, and he would keep us up because actually he would get the defence sorted.
It's back to basics.
Anyone who comes in before January is buying an energetic midfielder. I've been saying it for 3 years, by the way, an athletic midfielder.
Yeah, mate, we say that every week on this show. We need a destroyer, I call him, an Ndidi, a Decore, someone who's just a monster in that midfield. We haven't had that. We've not had that for a long time.
Yeah, we need legs. We need legs, athletics, strength, all those dirty words that Pellegrini probably doesn't like. You know what I mean? Athleticism, strength, all of that stuff. So I think if Moyes did that and he got his central midfielder, he'd make us tight at the back, and he would know that Sebastian Haller, Mikel Antonio or Felipe Anderson or Yarmolenko or something like that, whoever he put in the team, one of those would be highly likely to come up with a goal in a game, and we'd have some 1-0 wins. I don't want it for the long term, no. But I did want attacking football. We don't have Pellegrini's not delivered attacking football. That was almost his only remit. Many of us said, actually, we don't mind losing some games, but it's going to, it's going to be 5-4, and that's not what's happened.
We're not attacking. We're not attacking. I could take it if we were attacking. I don't think we had a shot until about the 60th minute the weekend.
Yeah, I think it was even later than that. It was ridiculous. Like you say, we're not attacking. It's all sideways, backwards. The players seem scared to attack at the minute. I feel like they're so scared to concede. They're too nervous to try anything.
Goalkeeper has killed us, though. The goalkeeper situation, which we will discuss in a minute, has killed us. That really has killed us. You could even see what it did to Man City. You know, Edison was injured. Bravo came in. 2 mistakes possibly from Bravo in that game. Lost the game. I know Liverpool were amazing. But it just shows how crucial that position is for me. 5-a-side team again. Your best player needs to be your goalie. You know what I mean? Someone who actually likes playing there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard amongst your mates to find someone that wants to be in goal, but obviously there's a difference between your mates and professional footballers who have trained all their life to be a goalkeeper. Yeah.
We'll just have a quick little touch on this. David May says, do you think the American investors, so that's Trip, will be our next owners? No. It's definitely something there. No? You think no?
I don't know. He put money in, didn't he? He put money into the club. I can't remember how much it was, 10 million or something. He put a loan into the club with the stipulation that he gets paid back in full if the club changes hands. It's a really weird one that he sort of came in, silent partner, put some money down, but then nothing's happened since. So I doubt it. I don't know. Maybe he just needed somewhere to stick 10 million quid. I don't
know. I think you'll find Tripp is going to broker the deal.
You reckon? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I want to say he's like the middleman in terms of the investor.
Very, very much so. He's just brokered a deal very recently for another US sporting franchise. Name escapes me. I'm pretty certain of who is going to take over West Ham as well, but I just need to finish me stuff. You know, I say pretty certain. I've got a damn good idea who's going to do it, but that's a long old video which needs doing, but and not one that's quite as easy as shouting a load of crap in your van and slagging off the board, which is far easier than this video. But yes, I think you'll find Tripp Smith is going to be the broker of the deal, and that's why he is involved. But there's some not everybody gets on with everybody, if you know what I mean.
Right, yeah. Another quick one. What do you think of reporters that Noble, Rice, and Snoddy were angrily digging the other players out after the Burnley game? Good on them if they were. They deserve it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know if Noble and Rice have got any. I don't think they should be digging anybody out. They haven't exactly been lighting the world on fire recently. Snodgrass for me is the only one of those 3 names that would be able to turn around and say anything. I love Declan Rice. He's a fantastic player.
What do you think? My dad keeps saying this about Declan Rice. He ain't been the same since he got picked for England.
He ain't.
What do you think on that, Gonzo? Obviously, you're not here every week to discuss this with us, but what do you think on that?
I think it's easy to look at that link, but I think there is a natural dip for someone his age who played almost a full season. Well, he did play a full season last year. I think he's tired, yeah. And then he's gone and he's played in this, what do they call it? That tournament England were in, whatever it was.
Oh, the Euro Nations thing.
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
So I think he played in that as well. Outside, did he go to China? Whatever. I think it's been a tough old season, plus international games. I think you were naturally going to get a dip from Declan Rice. And it is a hell of an ask to try and perform in the way he had been, which is all action in that midfield, particularly given that Mark Noble's getting on. He's got to be the legs, Mark Noble's legs, and he's not legs. Declan Rice is not legs. That's why we need someone with...
Would you have kept Obiang?
No, because I don't think he was legs either. Obviously, they all do have legs, which is a bonus. But I mean, do you know? I'm talking about.
We needed like a Kouyaté when Kouyaté first signed his first.
Like the army character when he first signed. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, people. I mean, you said about. I often call it a stopper. You said
destroyer.
Destroyer. A destroyer is nastier than a stopper, isn't it? But a box to box would also, so it's someone to cover the ground, someone with a little bit of snap. Funny enough, someone almost like Lee Bowyer used to be. Lee Bowyer was almost a bit of a poor man's Lampard, but he would run back, he'd arrive late into the box, particularly before he had that bit of trouble that he had. Somebody with a lot of running. Somebody, when you look at it, who did Liverpool used to have? I think Liverpool had a player called Sissoko, not the one that's at Tottenham. I think Liverpool had a different Sissoko. And I remember him under Rafa, and I remember him breaking the record. These records stick in my mind. He ran the most. I think he'd run 8 kilometers. It might have been 8 kilometers, 8 miles. I don't know, but he'd run the most out of anybody in this game. And you watched him, like, crikey. You know, he was almost worth 1.5 players. We need somebody like that. And actually fit. There's 2 things you've got to take into account. Once you've discovered that he has the footballing ability, actually, how fit is he and how fast is he? And injuries, it's basically becomes almost a fitness issue when you're scouting that player. You are that guy, he's fit, as like Billy Bonds used to be, someone that's fit as a fiddle.
There's a stat that came out actually the weekend. I don't know if you picked up on it on commentary. They said we have run the least amount of miles of any Premier League club. No surprise at all. No surprise at all. Right, because I'm very aware that Gonzo's only got about 15 minutes left, so I'm going to move on very, very, very quickly. So Lanzini and Noble out. Obviously, that's the news that's come out. Obviously, Lanzini, it looks like it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks. Noble maybe for the Spurs game, but is it that big a loss anyway? I know it's the Tottenham game, and obviously he's good for them sort of games. But who plays in that midfield now with them 2 out?
What's the Wilshere issue? What's his situation?
Oh, Jack, yeah, Jack. Maybe Jack.
Is he fit? I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
I don't know, mate. I don't know with Jack, and I love Jack, but you just don't know with him.
Otherwise, you're talking Sanchez and Rice, pretty much. And I've been saying this for weeks. I would want to see Fornals play in that Noble role. I would want to see Fornals play in the middle alongside Rice, or maybe even it's time to bring Sanchez in. Maybe it is. I don't know.
There might be no other opportunity, no other options. Sorry. We actually have a real issue in central midfield. You look at Leicester, and Leicester aren't the only ones. Actually, you could look at Wolves as well and look at their midfield 3. If you look at midfield 3s, Leicester's, they all complement each other. They all offer they all offer different Tillemans. You know, the long range passer. You know, the intelligent one. Maddison, your tricks and your flicks, and really good at finishing. And Didi, absolutely. So there's a real lovely blend to them. I really fear for us if we were to put out a midfield of, let's say, Declan Rice, Fornals, and Wilshere. I mean, there's just no pace. We've got no pace in there at all. But even if Sanchez,
that is a blame area, actually. No pace. There's no pace.
Bring Sanchez in, still no pace. It shouldn't have been allowed.
Would you be tempted to go to wing backs in that game then? 5 at the back.
Well, I'd have been tempted to go to wing backs some time ago because I think it probably suits lots of people. We've got 3, gets 3 centre backs on the park, takes the defensive questions away from Masuaku and Fredericks, and gives us 2 strikers because you can go a 3-5-2. Doesn't necessarily mean a Jetty's up next to Haller, but it gives you another option to do, and it just mixes things around. And it does, as I say, it gives you another bit of protection.
With wing backs, you could potentially narrow Yarmolenko and Anderson's position as more of sort of.
Absolutely, if you wanted to, yeah, if you want, well, and get them within shooting.
Yeah, with the support for a Haller as well.
Yeah, you know, who's must be beside himself. I don't think he must have been promised so much.
Let's look at that club and go, me out of here. Yeah, I need out. It's just
I just think we all do things, don't we? We all just in life promise people things, and you know. Whatever it might be, and I think in a football club situation, I would pretty much guarantee that he was promised that he'd be in a team full of world. Don't think that when we are told as fans, world-class stadium and a world-class team and all that stuff, that's not just us that get that. The players will get that. So we all fell
for the Ray Winston video.
Absolutely, it was a lovely video. I don't know if Ray put a video together for Sebastian Haller. But I would imagine he certainly was told attacking football under a league-winning manager in a world-class stadium.
I reckon Payet was told that. 100%. Was told that as we went to the next stadium. Oh, we're going to get this one in. We're going to get this one in for you.
We're going to get. I think he was told we're going to get you a striker, and we're going to get you a striker in. And then actually we got Ayew in, and I'd imagine he was still told then. Oh, Ayew, we brought your mate in from our.
We was close to Lacazette there, weren't that season? We was proper pumping for Lacazette, weren't we? And it's like. Probably what he was thought. He thought, yeah, they get Lacazette in. Yeah, we're going to go really on as a club here, and then
If only someone had told him, if he'd have just hung on just a little bit longer, Jordan Hugo would have come in. I reckon we would have had a chance of keeping him.
I reckon so, mate. Definitely. Okay, so the next one. So Martin or Roberto. Again, I'm going to bust through these really quick because he hasn't got much time. So all the rumours are that Martin is a banker to be starting the Spurs game. What's your opinions on that, boys?
Can we have both of them? Can we have both of them in? Martin, just because Roberto's a busted flush now.
He can't ever play for the club again. He can't, and I feel sorry for the guy. I really do feel sorry for him.
It's not his fault. He got bought into the club. He got given a contract. He probably knows he's not good enough to be playing at this level.
He's overweight as well. You look at Adrian, who's obviously second choice at Liverpool. Now he's slim, he's trim, he looks like he can actually dive. Where this geezer, it's like me being in coal. Do you know what I mean?
Roberto's a destroyer of donuts.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Can we recall Nathan Trott? Can we get him back?
I don't think we should. I think it was.
There's another young pup as well, isn't there? There's another young pup that's really good. Name escapes me, top of my head now. Again, another quick one. I'm busting from that. So, I'm at Xmas, boys. Know that Gonzo sort of touched on it. You don't think we'll win a game in our next 3. Will we not win enough to be at Christmas though? Yes or no?
When you say bottom, what do you mean bottom 3?
Yeah, you can take that wherever way you want. Bottom 3 or right at the bottom.
I've not looked. Funny enough, when these things happen, it's running for my team not to look at the league. It's a bit like that. Yeah, it might go away. It doesn't go away, but we are in dire. I just can't see any evidence for us beating Tottenham or beating Arsenal or beating Chelsea. We might. It's even hard to be confident that we go to Southampton and get something from the game. Maybe we go to Southampton and get a point. It's hard to see us going there and thrashing them. It's hard. And if we lose our next 3 games, which we might, or if we lose 3 of our next 4 games, we're going to be in and around the bottom, aren't we?
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, Luke.
Mate. Go for it, mate. Go.
I was going to say, I think I've just got the table up there, looking at it now. We're 5 points clear at the bottom 3, and to be honest with you, I can't. Southampton and Norwich are terrible. Watford could possibly catch us. There's a danger, but
with Norwich, though, like you say, Norwich are not Barcelona. A little bit earlier in the chat, but Norwich have got that we haven't got. I look through that whole 11. Have we got anyone who you could say fighters? They are fighters. If is there anyone who's going to do a Scott Parker job for us if we are down there in the last 5 to 10 games?
No, probably not.
Gonzo?
No, look, you can't see it, can you? I mean,
there we go. Yeah,
we're right there. Hello, I'm crap. Look how bad I am at doing this.
He's had a beer.
I've had no beer. I mean, that's bad. I'll tell you what, you get all the mod cons on Streamcast. What's it called?
This StreamYard. I know. I need to work out how you do them special pictures. I do need to work out how to put special pictures in. I need to work out how to do that.
Sorry, host. What's the question, Luke?
What was it? When you look at our team in terms of the 11, is there a Scott Parker character now? A fighter where you look at Norwich, you look at Villas, even Watford. When Troy Deeney comes back, he's a fighter. He's a winner. He's going to drag them through games. Is there anyone you look at in our team and go, you can do that?
Okay, yeah. I mean, they're almost 2 different things. Yes, we do have a scrapper, and that's Robert Snodgrass. And what Troy Deeney is a fighter and a scrapper, but also he's got something else, which is the force of personality to take not only his own
leader.
He is a leader, which then drags other people with him. So there's a lot of people who scrap and fight and might be quiet. I'm not suggesting Robert Snodgrass is quiet, by the way, but it's that ability. It's a huge thing, and mentally it's a huge thing to be able to up your game. So I always talk about Roy Kay. What a guy he was for doing that. Yeah. Tony Adams, to actually get your team to play well, excellent yourself, and grab everybody else and take them with you. And we don't just lack that. I mean, it's a bit of a dirty word because it's Chelsea, but John Terry was that.
Scott Parker was that for us.
But there's just not. It's not just West Ham. There's not many of those.
No, them characters don't
around.
exist.
So what you need is collective responsibility from each and individual responsibility. So everybody's responsible for their own input and their own work rate, and that's going to be a problem if you only have 4 players in a 10-man outfield game, which is what it is. If you only have 4 players running to their maximum capacity, that's going to be a major issue because it's not tennis; it's a team sport.
Okay, 2 more things, then it's time to go. So, what do we need in January? We sort of touched on it. One of them is obviously clearly the destroyer, so we don't need to touch on that again. What is your other key area? So, for me, there's going to be looking. For me, it's a striker. It's another striker, but I know the talk is, I believe, a right back. I believe is the talk, according to that Nico Shavari or whatever his name is on Twitter. He messaged me all the time privately saying, "Oh, we're going to get this one and this one and this one." Obviously, I never leak it on anywhere.
Does he message you? Does he?
Yeah, he messaged me quite a lot actually. He always goes, "Oh, this one, mate. This one, this one."
Nice, I like it.
He's quite a nice guy. He's quite a nice guy. Yeah. What would be your preference after centre midfielder? The centre midfielder is number 1. That is number 1. What is your second? There is a second.
Centre midfielder, striker, goalkeeper. I think we might be okay to see us through the season at right back. We might another fast winger if he's not going to bring Holland in. We're woefully, we're really woefully short at the moment. It has to be said. I'm talking about survival here. I think we're a million miles away from where we all hoped and believed we might be at the start of the season. So, but we definitely need another striker because.
Any names that spring to mind? Giroud? You take Giroud?
No, because he's far too similar. I think the point of having a striker is you want to try and play them at the same time to get some support up to Haller. There's no point they both occupy the same space, Giroud and Haller, so they're both becoming short. You want one to sort of spin in behind. A little Mexican fella, I think he'd be quite good because he'd probably run in behind. No, actually, in all seriousness, we need a massive injection of pace into the team. So whatever striker comes in needs to be fast. Whatever midfielder needs to be fast, and so does the winger. Take Anderson.
You know what we haven't got as well? Someone who can actually ping. You know, like a John Joe Shelby, for example. There's no one who can ping the ball from midfield. That's actually got that.
But there's also no runners. There's no runners. I mean, Alan Saint-Maxine, I mean, he was really running. You look at Jamie Vardy's playing at the moment. You need somebody that is going to stretch the defence, but you're right, but someone's got to find them. The moment Anderson is taken out of that team, there is no pace in it whatsoever. Apart from Fredericks. Yeah, apart from Fredericks, who's at right back. It's too deep. All right, it's nice to have a fast full back, but, you know, crikey,
I'm looking forward to Antonio back. I'm looking forward to having Antonio back. And I used to slate him. I used to slate him something rotten, but, you know, he was starting to hit that form sort of towards the end of last season when he looked fit. He lost some weight. Looked good. Okay, last thing, so we can let Gonzo go. So Paul Merson said this just before going on air. I read this, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. No Noble, no West Ham. Do you agree? So he said as soon as Mark Noble went off, 10th minute, West Ham just sort of didn't even look like a team. And he says it's really risky now not having Mark Noble in that team for the next sort of possibly 4 games.
Somebody
said, I don't think it's as crucial as that. Like, no. Listen, I've always not been his biggest fan. No, he has had moments the last few seasons, but
the start of this season,
we need to move on.
Great form. Start of the season, he was in great form.
Is he going to be starting next year?
No,
you want him to be starting next year.
You know, no. I think we've been saying this. We were saying this last year as well. We definitely need to start phasing him out, and I think he probably thinks that as well himself. He probably wants to start bringing through the next him. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure he wants to see that. He's massively involved with the younger players at the club. He's massively involved in the youth setup, and I'm sure he wants to see that himself. But have we got anyone there to do it? That's the question.
That's it.
I think at the start of the season, you probably would have asked if I'd have asked you or any West Ham fan at the start of the season, with all the hope we had going into the season, is Mark Noble going to play 38 games, Premier League games for this up and coming season? No. Most people would have said no. I want him involved. Most people would say, but maybe he's going to play 25 and the rest of it. So we can't have that. It's not as easy as what Merson says, just for Mark Noble to have to be in it. It has to come from somewhere else as well. I mean, he brings so much, and certainly in times of identity, we need him around. But you're going to have that lack of West Hamification that he brings or whatever. You're going to have to make up in other areas like athleticism and tactics, for goodness sake. You know, all right, if you don't have a Mr. West Ham in there, fine. Then devise a tactical plan so the Spanish and Brazilian players can get it and understand what they've got to do, and so we can beat the other team, who possibly the other team, with the exception of a few, possibly don't have a local lads in every team anyway. You know, I mean, Newcastle have got a couple of Geordies in the centre of midfield now. Great. But there's a lot of teams that don't, you know.
That's it. Right. I'm going to leave it there because Gonzo does have to leave us. I believe he's got something he's doing this afternoon or this evening.
I'm washing my moustache.
Got to get that beard oil going in it. Right. So thank you, Gonzo, so much for coming on. Absolute pleasure as always to have you, Gio, on, and any guest we have on. It's always good fun. The view figures, record figures, mate, you can take that with you. Some record
I don't know, where are they? I can't see no figures.
We got up to about sort of 100, 150 watching us live there, which is a sort of a record for us.
I like it. Well, listen, you boys need some subs. You need some people watching. You said Gio, he's been very quiet, hasn't he? So I haven't heard anything. He's kept himself to himself. You've obviously forgot to put his little window up, didn't you? But well, honestly, thank you for having me on. Very enjoyable. You boys do a lovely podcast. I'm not just saying that and blowing smoke up your whatsits. You know, thoroughly enjoyable. I love your layout. I love the old StreamYard.
Send us some sponsor money. Come on.
I never forget. Yeah. Which and fair play to you, because I know you have to pay for the software and all the rest of it, and it ain't easy doing this stuff. Onwards and upwards with your podcast. Happy to join in any time. And listen, hopefully we keep going from strength to strength. And we've got something positive to talk about next time. You know, we've got some. Yeah. Let's hope so. Listen, I'm happy to join you whenever you want me to. But I hope whatever and whoever's on next time, let's hope it's not the doom and gloom that we're all predicting, fellas. You know.
Definitely. Again, if you haven't seen it, guys, I'm sure you have. Check out Gonzo on Hammers Chat. Hit the subscribe button for our channel and their channel at the same time. Until next week, guys. On your irons. Keep believing if you can. Let's go.